here's how this story starts. So when I saw the very first sort of Casey Neistat video and he was riding a boosted board, you can imagine how that tweaked my interest. A lifetime of skating, and suddenly you get boards that are powered by batteries and have motors, and that kind of started the whole process for me. That's pretty much when I started hunting for a electric skateboard of some kind in South Africa, but much to my shock and horror and dismay, there are none. I then tried to import a couple, and that got really interesting. So I went hunting on Alibaba for electric skateboards and found a ton of really cool options. One of them was actually a carbon fiber board, really cool sort of in-wheel motors. Cost was going to be about, in fact I think when I paid it was like 12,000 Rand, and that would include shipping and the whole 9 yards. For what looked like a really cool carbon fiber electric skateboard. So cool, done deal, right? Place the order, give them some cash. It's a little bit scary sending a lot of money to China, but done anyway. And sort of a month goes by, the board's being manufactured, you get the runaround, blah blah blah, and then suddenly one day I get told, sorry, we can't ship you your board. Turns out that lithium ion batteries over a certain size cannot be shipped via air to South Africa. Something about an aeroplane in the 80s that crashed. So nevertheless, they gave me a refund. PayPal helped a lot with the refund. We then carried on hunting on Alibaba for electric skateboards. We chatted to everybody locally. There was one crowd that does like a really big off-road electric skateboard, but I don't want like a 45 kilo skateboard. That's just, yeah. Anyways, carried on hunting on Alibaba, hunted around South Africa, nothing, absolutely no options. Nothing anybody could ship to South Africa. Started talking to Boosted themselves. Boosted board, I could buy a board from them. I'd have the same shipping drama, except their board would be like close to 20,000 Rand once you've paid for it there, paid VAT in South Africa, and then you haven't even shipped the thing yet. So let's say 25,000 Rand for a boosted board. So then a mate of mine who owns a company called Flying Robot, they make really cool drones. He built himself an electric skateboard. He imported the trucks, he imported a bunch of controllers, he manufactured some batteries, he 3D printed a bunch of pieces, and had himself a electric skateboard, which I thought was pretty cool. I went round there, and then I made the mistake of actually riding on the damn thing. So the problem now is I've ridden a electric skateboard, and it is good. It is absolutely amazing. Just, you're on a board. I love skating. I'm now on a board with the motor. I'm loving this even more, and I want one more than ever, but I still can't find one. And all I want to do is I want to get on an electric skateboard and ride. That's all I'm thinking about. It's obsessive. I just want to find a board somewhere. So of course I go hunting again in the hope of finding a board somewhere in South Africa that is electric that I can ride, and I come across nothing. I go as far as speaking to a shipping agent who can ship me one via sea freight. It'd be like 2 months to order, then it would be 2 to 3 months by sea, and then I would get my board. So at this point I'm prepared to spend 20,000 Rand and then wait 6 months, maybe longer. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? And it is. It's like properly bent. And then something bizarre happened. I was walking around a shopping center. I walked into Dion Wired. We were just killing time with the boys, and guess what I find? You guessed it. Find a board, electric, in-hub motors, but it's on the floor for like 6 grand. So I'm thinking to myself, why is it so cheap? 6 grand. I mean, everything I looked at from China was like 10 grand plus. A boosted board's going to be 16,000 rand just on the exchange rate. You add some VAT, you know, we're talking 15 to 20,000 rand realistically to land a board in Cape Town. In addition, my mate, linked below by the way, my mate who built himself a board, he spent a good 10 to 12 grand building his board. A longboard from Board Hub or Baboon boards with relatively good trucks and standard wheels would probably run you 3 to 3.5 grand just for the board. Here we have sort of a 5-6 grand deal. I need to actually check which one. It was like 5 or 6 grand. Let's call it 6. A 6 grand deal for an entire longboard with a motor, batteries, controller, the whole 9 yards. So the suspicion in me is like, what's wrong? What's missing? What's like, this just doesn't seem right. Just doesn't seem right at all. So I take the board out and ride it in the shop. Seems fine. I went and did a bit of hunting and a bit of digging. I read the manual, and there are a couple of things that are missing on this board that make it so cheap, but it's still a worthwhile effort. So for starters, these wheels, or the motors inside the wheels, the boosted board runs like 2,000 watt motors on either side. That's how it gets up to like 40 kilometers an hour. This is a 100 watt motor. It's not very strong. It can only do 10, maybe 20 kilometers an hour. The battery and the charger is not very smart. So like in the manual, they're very clear about charge the thing. There's a light that goes on when it's full, and then unplug it. Don't leave it charged. Don't like charge it overnight. None of that. You're going to damage the battery. Any sort of modern electronic device will have a battery and a charger. The two know each other. It can sense when it's fully charged. It will stop feeding current. Think about your iPhone. You plug your iPhone in overnight, stuff works, right? Your iPhone doesn't die after a week. So there's that missing. The controller is quite small. Where's the controller? Controller's quite small. It's got a forward mode, and then you have to toggle a switch to go backwards. The brake is kind of on or off. Not ideal, but you can live with that. It doesn't give you any kind of indicator beyond charge level, so you don't know which mode you're in. There's like a lot of stuff missing here. You kind of have to make it up as you go along and feel where you're at. But it's a board, and it's got a battery, and it's got a motor, and I'm gonna ride it. So I figured I should probably get used to riding this thing first. It's not like I'm an aficionado on boards. I've ridden one very briefly, and I should probably find a place where it's kind of okay for me just to smooth surface, safe environment, preferably private, so that when I wipe out the first couple of times, nobody's laughing. And what a perfect place I have right here at work. It's Saturday afternoon, nobody's around, no cars, it's underground, we have smooth, beautiful concrete. This is a great place to test this board for the first time. So I fully charged it, I've charged the battery, I've read all the instructions, everything's on, and let's see how it goes. I suppose what makes sense is to kind of push off on the board and then accelerate rather than stand still. Otherwise, if you're standing still and you begin accelerating, it really is like that motion. That's how you land up in your head. Safety first. So we're going to push off like a normal longboard. Once we have a bit of momentum, give it a squeeze and see how it goes. This is so freaking awesome. So when I rode it in the shop, it did exactly the same thing. It's pretty much brakes on or brakes off. So I'm gonna have to kind of get used to that a little bit. This is just awesome. So you can squeeze the brake ever so slightly, and then it brakes a little slower. rapid acceleration is going to land you on your bum. Okay, brakes. Brakes are going to require a lot of work. I suppose this is like learning to ride a car or drive a car. At first that clutch is like sticky and you just don't have it. And over time you learn clutch control. This is so easy actually. It's just a matter of I'm gonna fall so hard. It's just a matter of figuring out how gently to squeeze the trigger when you brake and how gently to squeeze the trigger when you accelerate.
Sky blue, the sun glistening. I hear morning birds whistling. Yesterday I weren't listening, but right now I feel different.
Okay, I think I got the hang of this. Where's the best place to ride? Muizenberg to Kalk Bay. Let's go do it there. So right here, right now, is a dream that I've dreamed for at least the last 18 months, maybe 2 years. Coming true. Electric board, Muizenberg to Kalk Bay. Board on top. You know, they can make this switch better. Alright. Boards on. Controllers on. Go. Should probably lock the car, huh? Car's locked, board's on. Let's go. This is so awesome.
I've been down in the alley, darkness around me, everything's cloudy and gray. Birds chirp as I serve my brew. I'm cool with the work I do. Clock ticks and the world might move. Time stops with a girl like you. Perched high, word my dude. I observe life from a bird's eye view. Jokes try hurt my mood, but my sky pure bright blue. No piss taken, I tell my demons they got mistaken. I lift weights, eat less bacon. I run with the sun just waking. Jumping ropes and my legs aching. Bathing when the heat get baking. Hiking when I need escaping. Stopping when the sight breathtaking. Cool, no cynical vision when I'm by the swimming pool. Sitting with a friend or two, sipping brews with them, chatting, chilling, skinny dipping with a few women. Just a simple musician getting loot when I'm in the booth. Spitting singing tools, ripping new rhythm, scribbling cool shit to the syllables. Fitting this shot of Remy got me merry. Followed by a shot of Henny while I'm voluntary. Solitary hand on my belly, bumping Machiavelli, popping by the chili. Then I get a cute message on my celly. Who's this? That hottie Betty, pretty stunning, something like Holly Berry. Hurry up, honey bunny, come and get me, cause I got another bottle with me. Better bring your bare body, quickly bottoms up. We can swallow plenty, we ain't gotta stop. Through the second bottle empty, then she unzips my flyer. Till I twitch and whine with desire. Wired up by her shit is fire, sizzling like a kitchen fire. Finna make it flying bitch, sing higher than the very high bitch Mariah. Higher than the little children's choir, busting the grill, Richard Pryor. Feeling like Sheen, living my dream, sharing my life with the right queen. Tearing my mics, getting my green, feeling mad like, get what I mean. Sky blue, the sun glistening. I hear morning birds whistling. Yesterday I weren't listening, but now I feel different. I've been down in the alley with darkness around me, where everything's cloudy and gray, but not today.
That was an absolute jewel. So a couple of things that add to the cheapness of this board is the trucks are super wobbly. I actually need to see whether I can tighten them. When you're going 20 kilometers an hour, the last thing you need, or the last thing you feel like, is the board wobbling like this. I mean, it's really cool for like carving and stuff, but you're going really fast, you want the thing to be like solid and stable and straight. I'll have to check whether I can tighten them. The trucks don't feel particularly heavy, so they might be quite cheap and struggling on that department. I mentioned earlier the braking system is kind of either on or off. You can just about sort of tweak the brake and feel your way into slowing down. But when you're going flat out 20 kilometers an hour and then you crest over a hill and you go downhill, you start going even faster, you're probably doing 25, possibly 30 kilometers an hour. You touch that brake and there's all kinds of, it probably cuts your speed in half instantly. So you have to be ready to either A, jump, B, you have to kind of lean into it and expect the braking inertia and just offset your weight a little bit with that. Takes some getting used to. Then the other thing I noticed now while riding it was as you accelerate, like sometimes you can just click it forward and it's like if you're moving already, you click it forward, it just gradually picks up speeds. Other times when you click it forward, it kind of jerks a little bit and like wants to take off. So it's not always a consistent response there. So you're kind of left having to feel your way into the power, which is okay, but not ideal. So I can understand how like tweaking all these little things that are not ideal would make this board, electric board, as expensive as like the boosted boards or like some of the bigger things. I know Boosted make a lot of their own stuff, so they obviously tweak and refine and get this kind of stuff right before they even ship the board. I imagine that to be a significantly superior experience to this board. Having said that, for $5,000, this is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It is so much fun. Haven't run out of battery yet, no idea what the battery, they say 20 kilometers. I don't know whether I could do 20 kilometers. What I'm going to try on Monday is to ride home from work. That's about 11 Ks. There are some inclines there. The other thing I'm not sure this motor does, because it doesn't say anywhere on the box or in the pamphlet, is it doesn't talk about regenerative braking. So I think it may be a case of you just, whatever power is, or whatever energy is being generated when you brake is just being lost. The motor is actually not smart enough or sophisticated enough to regenerate power and recharge a battery on that brake. But it's a $5,000 board, that's the thing. So it's like, if you want all those really cool things, then you need to cough up 20 grand for a boosted board, which I might do one day. If you like that video, hit the subscribe button below. I've got all kinds of other weird and wacky, in fact, I've got a really cool video I'm going to try and shoot tomorrow. So make sure you click that subscribe button. Also involves a board of some kind with 4 wheels.